Hey everybody, it's Stork from Stork Plays Games, and today I'm here to teach you how to play the 2 to 6 player game from Iello Games, King of Tokyo. We're going to use the Dark Edition for this playthrough, that way I can show you how to play King of Tokyo and King of Tokyo Dark Edition. So, let's take a look at the setup. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do is choose a monster and your monster board. So we would have our monster here, and normally it would be in the standee, but for the uh, filming purposes, we're going to leave it laying flat so you can actually see it on the overhead camera. The other thing we're going to have is our monster board. It needs to be on 0 victory points and 10 health, because that is what we start with. Second thing, make sure your board is set up and in the center of the table where everyone can reach it. The third, we're going to shuffle our deck and then lay out 3 cards. Fourth, make sure you get your tokens set up here where people can easily reach them. So our tokens, as you can see, are all set up here. Make sure you get your dice ready to go. So you'll have these 6 die to start, and then also these come later, so set those up just in case. Get your energy tokens. As you can see, we have ours set here in a Zenbin. Does not come with the game. Also, the dice tray does not come with the game. Just throw that out there. Finally, if you're playing the Dark Edition, which we are, you will have your monster's footprints. Get the matching footprints. So the king we have here, Kraken, Mecha Dragon, and as you can see, we're set up for a 3-player game. So in a 3-player game, we will not use this space as it is designated here for 5 and 6 players only. Next, let's cover exactly how to play. So there's a 5-step process to each turn. It is very, very simple. The first thing you're going to do is roll your dice. So grab your big chunky dice and roll these dudes just like that. You get up to 3 rolls, similar to Yahtzee or Dice Throne. So right now, I have 2 2s, 2 1s, an attack, and an energy. The attack is going to do me no good on the first turn, and I'll cover that here in a minute. Energy is always nice. 2s are better than 1s, so let's keep these. We'll set them aside, and we'll give it a second roll. Okay. Did not get anything helpful there, so let's give it a third roll, third and final. All right, and this is actually very good. So we'll keep those in the heart. So we have rolled our dice, and now we will move on to step 2, which is resolve our dice. So there's a few things that happen in the resolve status. So let's just resolve the ones that I currently have here, and you can resolve these in any order. Health is simple. If you are outside of Tokyo, meaning the board, so I'm outside of Tokyo, I would gain a health. However, you can never go higher than your maximum starting health at 10, so that's what I have, so this is not going to do me any good. Energy is exactly what it looks like. You have an energy, you take an energy. So I take one of these and put this with my monster. Now, the numbers are resolved a little bit different. These are victory points, but they're only count if you have 3. So I have 3 2s, which means 2 victory points. For every one after that, I would get a +1. So I would actually have 2 +1, and I would get 3, which is very good. So I would move this, this direction, 1, 2, and 3 victory points. So let's talk about some other options. If it would have been 1s, it would have been the same thing. I would have had to have 3 1s to get 1 victory point, and then every one after that would be an additional victory point. 3s, again, the same. If I have this, I don't get any victory points. I would just get my energy and I would just get my health. So the one thing that we haven't talked about are the attacks here. And we will come to those again here in 1 second. But the third step that we are going to want to resolve is enter Tokyo. So if Tokyo is unoccupied, I will be entering Tokyo. And since I'm the first player, I have to enter Tokyo. You have Tokyo and Tokyo Bay. They are essentially the exact same place. The only difference is, again, for the 5 and 6 players, you can have you'll have 2 spots to choose from. That way, more people can be inside. Now I'm going to talk about the dice here again. So had I been inside there, had I already been inside Tokyo, and I would have had these symbols, these are attack symbols, and these symbols mean you attack everyone outside of where you are. So I would have attacked Kraken and Mecha Dragon for 3 damage each. They both would have been hit for 3 damage. And that sounds great. However, the same happens for every player around the table. So if Kraken were to have rolled this, then I, the king, would have taken 3 damage. Now, when you take damage as a result of a die roll, you are allowed to concede and leave Tokyo. So let's pretend that the Kraken just resolved this damage and has hit me for 3. So I would spin my dial down 3, and then I can choose to stay, or I can choose to leave. I might want to leave. The reason I might want to leave is because, again, these hearts, and it shows you here on the board, will not allow you to heal inside of Tokyo. So I can't heal in there. So let's say that I choose to leave. The Kraken would enter. Now, when you enter Tokyo, and this shows here again, which I should have done on my king, but when you enter Tokyo, you gain a victory point. So you get 1 for entering. If you are in Tokyo at the start of your turn, so that's what this means. So now, let's say my turn is resolved, it's Kraken's turn. It's going to gain 2 victory points for starting his turn inside of Tokyo. Okay. So let's reset this back a little bit and go back here where we were. And our original roll had, I believe, 3 2s. Now, we want to talk about the 2s here because in the Dark Edition, you have the Rage track here. So the king, for getting 3 2s, would get +1 rage on the rage track. If you got 3 1s, you would get +2. The rage track, what that does is when I get to 3, I will get to look through these cards, and if you notice in the setup, which I think I definitely forgot, there are little 3s down here in the bottom right corner. There are little 6s and little 10s in those. So if I get to the 3 or past the 3, I get to look through these and I get to choose which one I want. You do have the option, there are red side, there are green side. The beginner suggests that you start with the red side, but you can actually also do green, or you could do a combination of the 2 and just shuffle them up and deal them out however you like once you get more advanced. So right now, the king has 1. So the 4th option is to buy power cards. And you can see these power cards up here. There's different kinds. There's keeps, there's discards. They cost whatever it says up here in the top left corner. So for this keep camouflage power up, I'd have to pay 3 energy. Currently I only have 1, so I cannot pay it to get that card. But if you had energy, you could buy as many of these as you can afford. Another option is to pay 2, and you can wipe the board. If I chose to pay 2 to wipe the board, I could do that, deal out 3 new ones, and if I still have energy, I could purchase from those 3 new ones. If I did have 3 and I purchased camouflage, it would go in front of me, and then 1 would refill. If I had enough energy to purchase that card, I could purchase that card if I wanted to. All right, and finally, 5 is the end of turn. So at this point, I would just end my turn and move on to the next player. So it would go around the board and it would begin Kraken's turn. So when I end my turn, some cards do have special end of turn abilities which would activate at that point. Currently, since we don't have any cards, that wouldn't happen. So what I'm going to do right now is take just a round or 2 so you can kind of get a feel for what's going on. So we gained 3 points. We'll take our fourth for entering Tokyo. And this would now begin Kraken's turn. So Kraken is going to take the dice and roll. He's got a pretty good roll here. Now normally the 3s are always better than the 2s. However, if you notice here on the Dark Edition, if you're trying to move up the rage track, the 3s will not get you any rage. So that is something different from the Dark Edition to the original edition. So the hearts aren't going to do him any good because he has perfect health here. King also was not actually damaged. So we're going to flip that back. And let's keep the 3s. We'll just try to get some victory points here. What a great roll. So that is 2 rolls. At the end of 2 rolls, I can stop if I want. You do have to, you're forced to resolve all dice at the end of whenever you stop or your 3rd roll. So Kraken's turn. Dice rolling is over, and now he would like to resolve the dice. So 3s is 3 victory points. That's fantastic. 1, 2, 3. To win the game, you get to 20 victory points, or you are the last monster standing. So if you've killed everyone out of the game, because this game does eliminate you and knock you out. So 3 damage would be resolved to just the king because Kraken and Mecha Dragon are in the same location, which is outside of Tokyo. You're either inside or outside. So let's take a look here. 3 damage to the king. 7. I will also add that there is no healing from the dice while inside of Tokyo, but there might be cards or rage abilities that allow you to do that. So no energy for Kraken, which is tough. Now the king can decide to leave. But at this point, the king has taken 3 damage. He's going to stay and see if he can bank those 2 extra points at the beginning of his turn. So now we would move on to Mecha Dragon, who will take the dice to roll. So 1s, that's pretty good. Now if we could get another 3, 1, and a hit. Okay, so the 3s weren't worth anything, so we have 1 victory point here. Mecha Dragon has 3 1s, which is 2 rage, so that would go here, and then 1 damage, which goes to the king, and now the king also could leave. He could just leave and let Mecha Dragon take. If the king decided to leave, Mecha Dragon does have to take the spot, but king decides to stay yet again and presses luck. So now we are ending the turn with Mecha Dragon, no energy again to buy anything. So the king, because he's starting his turn inside of Tokyo, is going to get 2 points, putting him at 6 points. So he's already pretty far up there. Alright, so there's some damage. There's some energy, which we desperately need. Hearts are not going to help inside of Tokyo, so we'll reroll these. Energy is good. So now I have a 3rd roll. These I can choose to now reroll. Okay. So we did 3 energy. 1, 2, 3, giving us a 4 total energy. The heart's nothing. Energy's resolved. 2 damage to both Kraken and Mecha Dragon. So, pretty successful turn, but unfortunately we are only with 6 health sitting there in the middle. And now I do have 3 or 4 energy, so I can buy one of these. So the camouflage is pretty nice, especially since my health situation. If you lose a heart, roll a die for each heart you lost. each heart reduces the loss by 1 heart. So we will spend 3 energy and purchase camouflage, and we will flip this down and have another one. Okay, so now the king has camouflage, and we are on to Kraken's turn. Wow. So Kraken has 3 hearts, but he only needs 2 to go back to full health. And energy is helpful. Damage, you'd want to damage me. And let's roll these, see what we can get some more energy maybe. 1 and a heart again. 2 hearts. Well, that's not going to help. Okay, so Kraken can heal back to 10 because he is outside of Tokyo, so those 2 hearts are resolved. He can gain an energy. Excellent. And he's going to damage the king. However, the king has camouflage. If you lose a heart, roll a die for each heart you lost. So if I roll a heart on this, which I did not, so I'm going to lose down to 5. And at this point, it is time to evacuate Tokyo. And now the Kraken is forced to go in. So let's finish up this round with the turn from Mecha Dragon, and then we'll end this how to play. So we got 2 hearts, a damage, that was tilted. I'm gonna re-roll that. Okay, so we got 3s. Let's see if we can get another 3. And we did not. So, like in the example earlier, I have 2 3s and a 2. These do nothing at all for me. Got a damage, so Kraken will be damaged. And 2 hearts would heal Mecha Dragon up to full health. So we did not get enough rage to get up to one of these cards, but the cards stay in front of you and they tell you what they do. Again, these tokens and these dice would come from powers or cards, but that's it. And that is how you play King of Tokyo and King of Tokyo Dark Edition. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. If you love my shelves, the box thrones right behind me, you can get a discount code to purchase them through me on this video or most of my videos in the description section. So look in the description below, click the link, buy yourself some of these fantastic shelves. I absolutely love them. They move with your collection, so it doesn't matter what games you get or get rid of or keep or don't. The shelves move with you, and I absolutely love them. So follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, at Stork Plays Games. Subscribe, please comment, and I will see you next time. Come play a game with me.